So we have very exciting stuff planned ahead.
And when you say that build cultural ties, are you talking of something?
Movies, yes, of course.
Yeah.
So what happens is when you increase trade, when you increase business in any form, so there are jobs created in America and then there are jobs created in India as well. So जैसे जहाँ तक फिल्मों की शूटिंग की बात होती है, तो फिल्मों की शूटिंग जब अमेरिका में होगी तो वहाँ भी जॉब्स बनेंगी, यहाँ भी जॉब्स बनेगी. तो वी आर वर्किंग ऑन अ फेडरल ग्रांट दैट कुड encourage Bollywood productions there, Bollywood distributions there. So we're working on everything, and that's where I come from. That's my expertise also. So I would love to be a part of that whole exchange also. My father is already a pro on the defense and the trade and the fight against terrorism. So I bring the cultural part a little bit.
I have a question for, sorry.
Pops, come now.
आपसे सवाल करने थे शलभ जी. Please,
हाँ.
First, why don't you? I want to actually see if she. Why don't you ask your questions to her first? Okay, try. Try.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
So there's been growing attacks on Indian Americans, and the response from Mr. Trump has been shockingly slow. And there is growing insecurity among Indian nationals.
I would disagree, but finish your question.
Yeah. So how do you reassure? I mean, there is a lot of insecurity among Indian nationals as well as in the larger Indian American community in the US. Right
I would
now.
disagree. So this again, when I say there's a lot of media bias and there are a lot of news that comes from the other party that is circulated, which is not true always. जो आप कैंसर अटैक की बात कर रहे हैं, ऐसे अटैक्स बहुत सारे होते हैं और होते रहे हैं हिस्ट्री में. Even when ex-president Barack Obama was there, ऐसे racially motivated attacks पूरे होते रहे हैं अमेरिकन हिस्ट्री में. बट अब क्या है ना, क्योंकि हिंदू कम्युनिटी का इतना अच्छा टाइज है एट द वाइट हाउस, पीपल आर हाईलाइटिंग दैट so that to create friction, to create insecurity. So Indians, this is a message also that please don't be scared. And coming to how they reacted, I don't know if you followed or not. President Trump, after 3 days after the incident, he addressed the joint session of Congress. He started his address. He doesn't have to do that. He started his address speaking about the cancer's attack.
Real correction, 6 days.
6 days, sorry.
6 days.
6 days after.
It took FBI.
Yeah, so they were investigating and
5 days and roughly 20 hours.
Yeah.
To come to a conclusion.
So they wanted to find actually was this the actual reason before making a statement. So once they investigated, जब उनको पता चला कि yes, it was a hate crime, they came out. He made a statement. He made that statement before his joint session of Congress, and that's a very, very big thing. Very, very big thing. And also he issued a statement through Sarah Sanders, who's the White House Deputy Press Secretary, and she says that they condemn this. So it was very strong statement, but क्या है कि media highlight करती है बुरी चीज़ों को.
The thing is that he is a very outspoken man.
Yes.
And he is very outspoken usually. So given the fact that he speaks and comments regularly, so the reaction came as a little slow compared.
No, I don't think so. I think I think this is way bigger. Once so why they took that time is because they wanted to see if this is actually that happened, if the news is correct or not. Once they figured out what the news is correct, he issued a statement in his I don't think it can get bigger than that. Before he addresses the joint session of Congress, which is a huge thing. He said that. So I don't think it's a correct response.
I will intervene also in there because a lot of people don't quite understand.
Sir, आप बैठे ना, please.
It's okay. If the President of the United States enters into civil litigation or criminal litigation, the case itself becomes spoiled. Unless you have full investigation, you just cannot. It was a case in point was when Barack Obama just became president in 2009. And there was an incident like that. And he jumped the gun because the victim was an African American. He jumped the gun. Lots of problems. Even Justice Department, his own people are after him because you cannot interfere the President of the United States, the U.S. government is a very methodical, controlled government. There is judiciary, there is Congress, and then there is the executive branch. Let the judiciary do their job. They don't like interference.
ट्रम्प को अमेरिका में भारत का मोदी कहा जाने लगा था इस
Just go ahead.
चुनाव के
Of
दौरान।
course.
अभी भारतीयों के लिए जीतने के बाद जो है वो क्या कर रहे हैं? भारत में जैसे एक लोगों में डर है कि वहाँ से अभी वो केवल अमेरिका जो है उनको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं और जो भारतीय वहाँ हैं उनकी नौकरियाँ जाने वाली हैं। वहाँ से ये कि यहाँ पे ऐसा खबर है, ऐसा डर है। आप इस पे क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि आप तो वहाँ से आए हैं, आप बताइए।
Actually,
सर मैं ये आपसे जानना चाह रहा था।
I'll just start it.
Okay.
प्रेसिडेंट ट्रम्प की ना एक उनका ये कैंपेन है अमेरिका फर्स्ट, और ये क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए मुझे बताइए। आप जिस देश के प्रेसिडेंट हैं उसकी प्रायोरिटीज़ पहले क्यों नहीं आनी चाहिए। जैसे हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं, उन्होंने मेक इन इंडिया बनाया, तो वो चाहते हैं कि इंडिया को प्रेफरेंस मिले मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में इंडिया में। तो मुझे बताइए अमेरिकन्स को उनके ही कंट्री में प्रेफरेंस क्यों ना मिले, और उसमें क्या खराब है?
नहीं बिल्कुल नहीं, बट
Exactly.
यहाँ पे डर है,
तो जो डर है वो बिना बात का डर है। आई थिंक मैं अगर कहीं की भी प्रेसिडेंट होती या कोई भी होता तो उनको अपने देश की प्रायोरिटीज़ पहले चाहिए, राइट? तो उनका जो कैंपेन है आई थिंक बिल्कुल वैलिड है, और आई थिंक आई रिस्पेक्ट दैट अ लॉट। एंड ही इज़ ऑल्सो वेरी ये जो पूरे डर हैं इमिग्रेशन जॉब्स, ये बस फालतू के डर हैं, ये नहीं होने चाहिए। ही लाइक्स स्किल्ड legal immigrants. What he's against is illegal immigrants. I think what he says is absolutely perfect. It's just, it's sometimes blown out of proportion and taken in the wrong way. अगर आप actually उनकी बातों को समझें तो बहुत actually sensible बातें हैं.
But what about the fact that he's raised the money that an Indian or an Asian will make compared to an American? So, I mean, it does cut out opportunities, job opportunities for those look for opportunities.
Sorry, I didn't quite understand.
So he has made changes.
But see, first of all, what happens is, in a way, it is correct that anything a president does, the most powerful man on this earth, press tries to read something into it. If he sneezes, people are going to try to read something into it. He says one word, people are going to try to read something into it. Everybody tries to read something into it. So like when you make a statement that he increased the wage structure, that I'm not going to say to fault the media for that, but it's simply ignorance, because the president of the country doesn't have the authority. He cannot change the constitution of the country. That authority lies only with Congress. He just simply can't even do it. And there are lots of different proposals that come out. It's the different congressmen that suggest, because that's their job. So Congress makes different proposals, then they debate on those proposals, then they vote on those proposals. House of Representatives is one body, that's equal to the Lok Sabha, and then you have the Rajya Sabha equivalent Senate, that votes, then they have a reconciliation bill, then they combine, then it goes to the president for signature. This is how the American process works. So that's what the mostly Indian media is pretty active, but doesn't have the knowledge of how the system works. So that's why all these issues get raised. For example, in fact, there is just a news out just now, just a couple of hours ago. We have been saying that there will be no change in H1 because President has too many other priorities. Domestic priorities are way too many other priorities for the legislative agenda in the country. Tax reform, repeal and replacement of Obamacare, getting rid of the Iran nuclear deal. So many other things to do. They cannot just tackle this. So a statement just came out 2 hours ago, which I've been saying that, we've both been saying that for quite some time, is there will be nothing on H1 that will change for 1 year. And they just issued a statement. And in fact, in that respect, the most senior congressman or senator, Senator Orrin Hatch of Utah, his proposal, see, all congressmen are allowed to make their proposal. His proposal increases the number of H1s by a factor of 2. How's that? So these are different proposals by different congressmen, different senators. And they'll be debated, and it'll take a year or so before anything can be finalized. So there will be proposals from both sides. Some will say cut it, some will say increase it. One of the, Beta, you want to address this issue of 20 years or 50 years? It takes to get...
this, you have like a better command on this.
Okay. See, people don't talk about that, but there is a much bigger issue, and this is the question that should have been asked. It's kind of a... let me give you a scenario, and the question is, why would Indian press not talk to Democrats or Barack Obama when he came here? Why don't you ask him the question? I'll tell you what the biggest problem in H1 temporary visas is. There are at least 500,000, maybe as many as 1 million very smart, a lot of them even PhDs, engineers, IT people who are on H1 and their green card has been approved. Now, in the current system, it takes as many as 50 years, 50, to get a green card. So let's say you have a family, typically that's what the scenario is. You graduate out of college at 22. Typically these people get a master's at 24. They get their PhD at 25, 26. Start their work permits for a year and a half, 26, 27. And then they are on H1. Takes 2-3 years before you're going to get your green card submitted. So when you are 30 years old, when you are 30 years old and your green card is approved, but it will not be issued for another 50 years, what do you do? Have you guys ever asked Obama this question? Here's what happens. Okay, let me take you further. So let's say you are 30 years old and you have kids who are 14, 15. What do you do with them? Because when they become 21, they are no longer eligible for a green card from your parents because they are adults. So it destroys families. So that is the real problem on H1 visas, which people don't address. And that is, by the way, is going to get fixed by Trump.